start with stash talk. I think that stash has had more than enough airtime.
It's had a lot of airtime.
It has.
We're not going to discuss the stash anymore.
No, what we are going to discuss is what the fuck you are playing at with your YouTube thumbnails when it comes to uploading our podcast.
Well,
Why don't we start there?
okay, let's start there. What's your hang up with them?
I think you know full fucking well what my hang up
What, the
is
fact
with
that you
them.
look 15 stone?
The fact that you have deemed me unattractive enough. I know I've put on some weight. We've discussed it.
I haven't.
To let AI completely mangle my face to a point where it doesn't even look like me, and thought, yeah, that looks better.
We've discussed this, haven't we? And I
Not
need multiple headshots of you to
we've
get the
discussed
AI
this.
to be able to replicate you.
The 3 people that listen to our podcast and watch it on YouTube have not. So they look at me like I've been to Turkey and had some botched face job every week when you upload.
Turkey face. It's not turkey teeth anymore. It's turkey face.
Yeah, every thumbnail, I look like a completely different variation.
Well, get me them headshots and I'll make you look like the crispiest version of you ever.
I just need to lose weight again, and then I don't need any AI. I'm not saying
just get me them headshots.
Yeah, okay.
What are we discussing, Joshua?
Personality types, I think, was as requested by popular demand.
Yep. How to sell to anybody, whether they're an A-type balls out personality or whether they're a mild and meek kind of person, like you and me. We're mild and meek.
You insulted me with the thumbnails. Now you're calling me mild and meek. We're only 2 minutes
It's
in.
an endearing thing to be, is mild and meek. You see my Christmas lights in the background?
I have. Let's not give them any more airtime.
All right.
Fuck Christmas.
All right. Talk to me then. Talk to me about selling to different personality types.
Well, I think the most important preface to all of this, we have closers come to us who say, I'm saying all the right words.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm absolutely smashing it. I've gone through, I've taken the time, I'm saying the right words, the reframes, everything. But yet some people will just seem really disconnected. Some people will almost cut me off 5 minutes into the conversation. And I feel like I'm at the top that I've ever been. I feel like my skill set has been really elevated.
Yeah.
Why the hell is it happening? And for us, we'll look at it 60 seconds in and go, 100% agree. You are saying all the right words. You're just saying them to the completely wrong person. Or you're saying it in completely the wrong way for the person you are speaking to. So you are getting their back up. Switch it out, put someone else in that seat with a different personality and biotype, they would be, putty in your hands. You just haven't made that distinction.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't being malleable enough to the people that you are actually speaking to. Yeah. So if anyone wants to know what on this episode is important, because, we'll put our hands in the air. We do have a tendency to talk an absolute load of bollocks sometimes. That's fair enough. We'll own it. We like talking bollocks. Yep. It's a very important thing to understand the people that you're speaking to, is what it really comes down to.
Yeah, 100%. The way I always explain this to closers is, you imagine a guy in a Hawaiian shirt and board shorts trying to sell something to a guy in a pinstripe suit from the city. It's like the guy in the suit looks at him like, dude, what the fuck? You're not even from the same planet as me. And vice versa. A guy in a pinstripe suit rocks up to the beach and tries to sell a dude with a surfboard, waxing his board. Mm-hmm. Hello, young man. Would you like to fuck off? Do you know what I mean? It's like, and the reason is because people like themselves. Mm-hmm. So very often, if you have a closer who is like an A-type personality, we've got one in our group. Well, we've got a few in our group. But one person in particular, very A-type, mm-hmm. which we would classify as a red, because we'll break down the colors a little bit. But that would be a very A-type, bang, 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 let's get it done. Let's not fuck about. Let's not, I don't want to get to know you or don't want to get to like you. Let's just get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great if you're selling to somebody else that is like that, because
Yeah.
that person's going to go, oh, great, this guy speaks my language. He's like me. That's like two people in pinstripe suits, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is if you get a very A-type personality closer, but with a very meek and mild type prospect, that prospect is going to want to run a mile away from that person because they're going to feel bullied and attacked. So you can have two different personalities. One will love it and resonate with it, and the other will hate it.
Mm-hmm.
So it breaks down a little bit like this. And I can't remember who first came up with this concept. And obviously, there are loads of different personality types if you do a disc assessment and all that kind of stuff. But a much easier way to remember it is like this. A red personality type is like a driver, A type, sergeant major kind of, let's just skip the fucking fluff, let's just get it done, that kind of a person. Then you can think of a blue personality type as somebody who is a lot more fun loving. So I think I'm a very fucking bizarre hybrid of blue and red because I do like to goof off. But I'm also like, can we just dispense with all the bullshit? So I think I'm probably right in the middle of a red and a blue.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm being honest with myself, I probably lean more to blue. I like to have fun. Do you know what I mean? Even on a sales call, if I get a closer who's like, man, I'm like, oh, dude, can we just like, maybe we should just have a couple of shots of whiskey or something and we could both enjoy this a bit more. So blue is like typical fun loving people. Then you've got green, and that's your analyticals. That's people that are just hyper fixated on data and numbers and stats and well, tell me exactly how this works. Tell me precisely how that would work. And I know a lot of closers get pissed off when they run into those people and they're like, fuck, why does it matter? Well, it wouldn't matter if that person was a red personality. They'd be like, yep, good, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody who's an analytical, typically like engineers and people like that, and there's a few people in our group that are engineer brained, you know, and we're engineers. Those types of people are hyper analytical. They want data, figures, and numbers. And then the last one is a yellow, which is somebody who is kind of more nurturing, more tender, a little bit more meek and mild. And I think the really important thing to remember is that what we're suggesting is that you don't not be you. Like, we're not asking you to be a chameleon and morph into a completely different color. But if you're an A-type personality and you're a red, but you're speaking to a yellow, somebody who's kind of very, you know, meek and mild, you might want to tone that red down just a touch. Mm-hmm. But on the converse, if you're speaking to another red, dude, full bore, give it everything you got, because they'll probably love it. Mm-hmm. And then if somebody, same thing again, somebody is a blue, they you know, they're very engaged, they're kind of animated, you can tell they like to have a lot of fun on call. That's cool. If you're a red, no worries, still be red, but just inject a little more fun into it. Mm-hmm. And then that tends to form more of a connection between two people because people like themselves. Mm-hmm. So if you are speaking to somebody who's, this person's kind of like me, they're much more likely to like you, they're more likely to listen to you, and they're more likely to buy from you, rather than, you know, imagine a sergeant major trying to sell to a Girl Scout. You know, that's just a horrible match. But if the Girl Scout was like, let's get it done, Sergeant Major would be like, fuck, I like this kid. Mm-hmm. Whatever she's selling, I want to buy it. You know, and I know we talk a lot about know, like, and trust, and the only part that's really important is the trust. And I said that for a long time, and do you know what? I will probably retract that statement a little bit as I've gotten a little older and a little wiser. I do think like it is important, and it does play a role. It's not as important as trust, but like definitely fucking helps. And if you can get somebody to like you and trust you, game changer.
Yeah. I think if we were going to, you know, just put one above that would sort of wrap up what you just said, is that perceived authority, right?
Yep.
You don't have to like your doctor.
Right.
But if you go to the doctor and they cup you and say, I've got some bad news, you're going to trust what they say.
Yep.
Whether you like them or not, whether they're in that, Hawaiian shirt and you're in a pinstripe, you have that, they have that perceived authority.
Yep.
That's, for us, like that leadership frame is the most important thing.
Yep.
We'll attach, because I was doing a bit of research before this, and we know online everyone likes to put their own spin on it. I think the most instantly recognizable, like you said, will be the yellow, blue, green, red. Everyone likes to take that, spin it into their own sort of subcategories. They all make sense. I think the most important takeaway is really understanding it. Like an A-type person, very easy to identify them straight away.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be very fast cadence. And that's a very obvious thing. And you would think that most closers would adjust their approach based on someone like that. But we see it time and time again where it's just a sort of one size fits all approach.
Yep.
Whether they're an A-type, whether they're an amiable, whether they're an expressive, whether they're a whatever.
Yep.
It's like, I'm going to ask the same questions in the same tonality. The same questions, yes, we still want the same answers. The problem is pain for an A-type. If we're like, so how does that impact you? How do you feel? They're going to be like, dude,
That is a bad question to ask an A-type.
the exit button is right there. I'm more than happy to press it if you keep asking me questions like that.
You're 5 seconds away from getting fucked off. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, we see it and it would seem obvious. I think the reason it's always been quite obvious to me, even before I knew about yellow, blue, green, and red, was I've talked about it before. I started my career in hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
So working behind a bar for 12 to 16 hours a day, 1 minute I'm talking to Doris who wants her sherry, then I'm talking to Bob the Builder who wants his pint of Stella. The way that I talk to Doris is very different to the way that I talk to Bob the Builder. And then I'm talking to corporate executives, and then I'm talking to 18-year-old girls on a night out. If I spoke to everyone in the same way, at the time I was 18, so, whatever.
Just to clarify, before the feds swoop into your house. Yeah.
They're above age anyway. So anyway, you have to,
You fucking rotter.
Off topic. We did so well for about 12 minutes.
We were going so well. I think it's because it's nearly Christmas.
It's nearly Christmas. But anyway, so the A-types are very, very easy to, or we would think they're very easy to identify. If you do not adjust your approach, that is why 3, 4, 5 minutes in, they're like looking at the watch. They're like, why are you asking me these sort of questions? I've come here to get the information. I don't understand the relevance of why you're asking me this sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Frame gone. No perceived authority. In their eyes, you're just wasting their time. And for that character type, the last thing you want to do is make them feel like you are wasting their time.
100%.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, on the flip side of that, you go to like a green who, like you said, is the engineer, is a bit more analytical. And you listen to everyone who's like emotion, emotion, emotion. Yes, all right, we know emotion justify with logic. For those people, the distinction is probably more 50-50.
Yeah, they're more left-brained.
Yeah. So whereas everyone's going to say it's like the 80-20. So you sell on the emotion, you justify with the logic. The emotion being 80%, the logic's going to be 20.
Yep.
For them, if they've only got 20% of the logic, in their mind, they are 100% haven't got a fucking clue how it works, not interested. If you can't give me the hard facts and figures, again, it's not worth my time.
Yep.
I am the sort of person who sits there and looks at facts on a piece of paper.
Yep.
Maybe when they say, can you send me a follow-up email? For that sort of person, that's not 100% bullshit. That could be, I just need to read it. And once I've seen it and it's physical on the screen, I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
Dude, I had a prospect once and he keeps looking down and typing. And I went, have you got, like, have you got something else you need to be doing? And he went, no, I'm just recording what you're saying into my spreadsheet. And I'm like, okay, into my spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Wow. Sold him though. Sold him because it was shortly after I started learning about personality types. So I was like, right, analytical. This guy is going to love data, facts and figures. And he bought purely off the fact that I went deep on the data.
Mm-hmm.
And he loved it. He was like, mate, this sounds amazing.
Mhm.
I'm in. And it was like probably the easiest fucking close. But if I'd got pissed off and I'd gone, oh my God, he's got a fucking data sheet. He's going to be comparing me with everybody else. I could have got pissed off and I could have just, tried to red personality him. He would have hated that and gone, well, it sounds all right, but I haven't really got enough information. I didn't really like the fucking guy anyway. So
Yeah.
as it was, he thought I was exactly like him because I was all data, numbers, figures. And because of that, he bought.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but it's easy to go, oh my God, this guy's filling out a spreadsheet. I'm gonna fucking do something to myself. I'm gonna hurt myself. Do you know what I mean? Like a spreadsheet, dude, for real. And a lot of closers would feel like that. But once you understand that people just have different personality types, ergo different ways of making buying decisions, you can flex and morph and play that as a strength.
Yeah. We may have spoken about this before. We may not have. Again, it may have been a conversation me and you were having. I think we agree. I at least think that high ticket sales has gone way too emotional.
Yeah,
There are so many companies that have forgotten about the logical, and
yeah,
people get so closers get so pissed off, sales managers, sales directors, the coaches themselves get pissed off because they're like, I can't understand why people keep coming on calls saying, "Oh, I just want more information. I want to find out how it actually works." And you're like, "Okay, well, think about it. Have you actually given them any information before the call of this is what it is, this is why it exists, this is who it's for, this is who it's not for, this is generally what you can expect in the result?"
yep.
Or have you just had a DM setter take them through some bullshit conversation, say, "Do you want to book a call with a team?"
And they've gone, yeah,
Okay,
all
so
right.
then it's not a genuine, or sorry, it is a genuine objection. I want to find out what the hell I'm here for because it's all been a bit vague and,
Yep,
wanky up until this point.
yep.
What the hell is it?
Technical term, wanky.
Technical term, wanky.
Yeah.
So the logic, despite what some people will tell you, is still 100% important,
Well,
whether they're
dude,
an
this,
analytical green type or not.
yeah, dude, I agree with you 100%. And this kind of morphs into another problem. And it's like, I speak to a lot of business owners who will say things like, I don't need any help with lead gen. We've got lead gen dialed. We're developing 150 leads a week.
Hmm.
What we need help with is sales. And you go in and you listen to a few sales calls, and every single person that comes onto a Zoom call is like, yeah, I'm not really sure what it is you do. And it's like, so then you've got to have a conversation with the business owner and go, take a breath. You're looking at sales and marketing in silos, and they don't operate in a fucking silo. So if you are a business owner and you're listening to this, sales and marketing are two cogs in the same machine. And the start of the sales process is your marketing. So when you do any call reviews, if you're hearing people overwhelmingly say, yeah, well, I want to find out what you do. Yeah, well, I just wanted to understand how it works. Or any variation of that sentence, that will indicate that you potentially have a marketing issue and you're not giving people enough information before they're
Hmm.
booking a call.
Yeah.
And you are trying to rely your entire business revenue and you are predicating it on finding some unicorn, miraculous, born from God closer. And that is a sketchy position to be in. You are better off really dialing up the marketing so that sales can be handled by somebody who's maybe a 6 out of 10 rather than absolutely needing somebody who's a 10 out of 10. Otherwise, my ad spend pisses out the window and I can't recoup it on the back end.
Mhm.
Have the marketing do more of the heavy lifting. And then you don't need to find a unicorn closer. You don't
Yeah.
need to get some absolute wizard. Plus, I know people with wizards in their business and they've only got one wizard, and that person absolutely holds them over a fucking barrel. That person, that closer who's a wizard, calls the shots,
Mhm.
tells them, well, I'm not going to record my Zoom calls. And the business owner's like, oh, okay. This is a real conversation. I said, why? What the fuck? What do you mean? Why isn't your closer recording their Zoom calls? Oh, well, he said he didn't want to. Okay. Who's the business owner? Well, I am. Okay. So is there any reason you didn't tell him to go and fuck himself? Well, I don't want to piss him off because if he leaves, my revenue drops to zero because the other guys aren't performing. That's a fucking problem.
No.
So now you need to either find another unicorn, but you've also now got a bad apple. Oh, well, hang about. Billy Bob doesn't record his Zoom calls. Why should I record mine? Now you've got, you've got all kinds of shit flying everywhere because there's no standard operating procedure.
Mhm.
You're better off working harder on your marketing than you are the sales,
Yeah.
because sales is, somebody asked me this the other day. I can't remember where it was, maybe on Facebook. And they put a post up and they said, what's more important, sales or marketing? And I jumped in and went, marketing. A load of fucking idiots jumped in and went, it's sales. If you're a good salesperson, you can sell anybody. No, dickhead, you can't sell steak to a vegan. So if the marketing is shit and bringing the wrong people in, whereas if the marketing brings in hyper qualified people that are ready to buy, you can have the weakest sales team in the world and you can still do $1 million a month. That does not work the other way around. You cannot have hyper weak marketing, bringing in the wrong people and have a killer in sales, because it doesn't matter how good he is. If you're selling steak and the leads are all vegan, you could be as good at sales as you want to be. It's like, you're never going to convince that person to buy a steak.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like marketing is the most important element in any business, but people seem to be hyper fixated on the sales side of stuff. And in actual fact, it's like you'd be 10 times better off if you focused on the marketing. Anyway,
Yeah.
whatever. What the fuck do I
I
know?
I have this weird theory that the terms high ticket closer and, high ticket appointment setter only exist because so many years ago, marketing departments just started getting lazy.
All right, Huff,
Tell me your thoughts.
come at me.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like you just said, if your business is dependent on having unicorn closers, and let's say for every team, there's 4 people on that team, one of them is an absolute unicorn. And now we'll stretch that even further and say you put 10 teams next to each other, those 10 teams collectively, they're only going to have one true unicorn closer,
Right.
probably. If your business is dependent on that unicorn for its revenue, do you have a business, or do you just have some duct taped 1 month away from failing hobby
Yeah.
that could fall apart any minute? Whereas if you had a fantastic marketing department, I know is the very typical example, like how hard do you think Lamborghini has to hard close someone that comes in? When it's a Lamborghini, it's a different sort of thing. However, if you think of Lamborghini, I don't think they're actually on social media. They don't advertise on like TV show adverts, but everyone knows what Lamborghini stands for. They have an idea in its head because they've built up a brand and image, which has been done through proper channels of marketing, building a brand, what it represents. And they don't need to be dropping, 200,000 on Facebook ads every month to know what Lamborghini is.
No.
Now, you could do the same, whether you're a fitness coach, whether you're a, property investor guru, whether you're a relationship coach. If you just very front end marketing, this is who I am, this is my credibility, this is who I help, this is who it's for, this is who it's not for, this is the transformation it delivers. That's why you do have some companies where people just buy off the back of like Word documents because they've seen one advert and it's like every word they spoke in that pre-recorded video felt like they were speaking into my fucking soul.
Yeah.
Like every word was written directly for me. I don't need to go and get hard closed for 60 minutes.
No.
I'm there. I'm whatever the amount of money it is.
Well,
Take it.
follow that thread deeper. Let's say you have got one unicorn closer. Dude, that fucking closer is only ever 3 or 4 days away from having his head turned by another offer. By somebody going, well, I'll give you 12%.
Yeah.
And you don't have to work Fridays. Now I'm interested. And if that person fucks off, you're screwed. But if you've got really solid marketing, you've got solid marketing. So even if that guy pissed off, if your marketing is good enough, like I said, and you've got a closer who's maybe a 6 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10, he'll still do great. You'll still be wildly profitable. So your business longevity is not contingent on one person. And that's the biggest fear that I have for a lot of high ticket businesses is if your business is contingent on one person's performance, you don't have a business. You've essentially got something that's teetering on a knife edge.
Yeah.
You know?
I've just thought we should stop giving our podcast titles. It should just be talking shit, throwing shade for an hour with Josh and Jeff. Tune in
Love
to
it.
find out what it's all about, because we start with one thing and we end up spiraling.
Dude, tell us in the comments. Do you think we should give it titles, or should we just change the whole thing to talking shit and throwing shade? Because we seem to be relatively good at that.
We are absolutely stunning at it. But okay, we'll bring it back on topic, right? The reason, and again, you can, in my opinion, that so many closers have such a hard time when they're actually quite, they're okay to good, but because there is so much that has not been done before them, being just an okay to good closer is still like 20 to 25 to maybe 30% close rate when everything else before you hasn't been done. And the business owner is looking at you like you are that unicorn, when in reality, you're just a pony with a spike glued to your forehead.
Yeah.
And you're being expected to pull off absolute miracles, just shit rainbow gold dust.
Well, and dude, look, here's the thing. This is not theory, right? I've got a client who sells high ticket fitness coaching, doesn't even bother with calls anymore. He's now done multiple sales, which are multiple 4-figure sales. No Zoom call. People just went, "Hey, dude, I want to work with you. Can you send me a payment link?" And he messaged me and was like, "Dude, what the fuck is happening?" And I said, "Mate, that's because we've been working on your marketing." And then another client who does have a sales team's closing at like 53%. They were closing at 18. Yes, we trained sales, but that wasn't the 80-20 of what moved the needle the most. What moved the needle the most was making sure the marketing was doing the heavy lifting for the sales team. You know?
Yeah. And that's why you do have to be the cream of the crop to make the money that you see online when it comes to closing, understanding like the different personality types, because everything that we talk about, it's not easy. It is simple. The reality is, right, let's imagine if you're listening to this, bringing it back to topic, and you're like, Jesus, how the hell am I ever going to understand these different types of people? All you really need to remember to get this into your psyche is 4 colors. There are 100 different variations of it on Google. Go and print it off and just cues this person matches this personality type. Obviously, if they're very fast cadence and they're, a bit more aggressive, they're going to be red. If they're X, they're yellow. If they're X, they're green. If they're X, they're blue. And then just adjust your approach. That's as sort of simple as it can be. Now, again, sort of nuance in this, right? So, like for a red personality type, for example.
You call me a terrible word then?
Huh?
You call me a horrible word then? You cut out slightly. I thought you called me a word for a not very pleasant person that begins with M.
No, where did I cut out? What did you think I said?
Don't know if I can say it. We might get cancelled.
I'm sure we've said far worse.
I thought you called me a nonce.
Nuance.
Oh, nuance.
I
That
mean,
makes
with
more
that
sense.
moustache,
I was
anyway.
like, what happened then? What the hell did he just, what? It's like, how the fuck did you shoehorn that into a sentence?
That's like them things, isn't it? Where you get given a challenge and they're like presenters.
Yeah.
What's that cold calling guy? And he tries to sneak words in from his Instagram.
Oh, the Aussie guy.
Is it Indie Creative? Is that him?
Yeah, Indie Creative. That guy's fucking hilarious.
They'll say in the comments, they're like, right, woof at the customer.
yeah. Legend.
What was I saying?
Don't know. You were calling me horrible words. There's nuance to it, you said. There's nuance.
Yeah, there's nuance to what? We've gone completely off.
I don't mind. That's it. Off the rails. Gone. It's
Entertain
Christmas.
yourselves.
Anybody were thinking we've been day drinking. We haven't yet. We're going to for the Christmas special, though.
Tell them about the Christmas special while I'm trying to remember where I was.
Well, the Christmas special is basically going to be an absolute shit show where me and Josh are going to have Santa hats and we're going to do some day drinking, maybe discuss something to do with sales, but mostly just shoot the shit and throw shade.
I know what we should do. Christmas jokes. Just an hour of bad, like, Christmas cracker jokes whilst getting absolutely slaughtered.
Dude, that could either be the best or worst podcast ever.
Well, every time we say something, we'll do like a take a shot,
Okay.
right? So we'll do like 20 minutes of warming people up and be like, right, every time we say this, it's like bingo shots, sales, high ticket sales. Like 20 minutes in, they're already half cut. We start with the Christmas cracker jokes. By the end of it, 20% of the audience will probably be dead because we'll just
Alcohol
absolutely
poisoning.
comatose them with drinking.
I can't tell you how on board for that I am.
What, killing 20% of the audience?
No,
You're
absolutely
absolute
not killing 20% of the
psycho.
audience. No, the Christmas special. When should we
Right,
do
well,
that?
that's it. Whatever the hell this episode was about, it's gone out of
I
my
don't
head.
know. It was about something. Personality colours, how to sell to multiple people, and
Yeah, just talk to people, adjust your style. There you go. There's high ticket,
business owners, be better.
yeah, high level, high ticket sales training at its finest, as always.
Right, what an absolute shit show. Always a pleasure to
Yeah,
see you, mate.
always a pleasure.
Cheers,
Christmas
bro.
special. Have fun.